Welcome to Voyage Daily Tech, the most important news personalized for you every day, supported by Voyage.com.
After listening to today's news, you'll know first, Silicon Valley's Doomsday bunkers reveal a deeper fear of AGI, mirroring the AI alignment problem with the classic guard's dilemma. Today, we'll take a closer look at this elite survival strategy and its implications for the AI safety debate and tech's public narrative. Second, Sam Altman-backed startup Campus poaches Meta's AI VP in a major acqui-hire, aiming to disrupt US higher education with a hybrid model. We'll explore how this $100 million plus funded challenger could transform the community college system and what it means for the future of AI in education. Third, Google's Gemini Enterprise escalates the AI war by integrating with Microsoft and Salesforce, betting its agent strategy will beat the Copilot model. We'll analyze why this cross-platform integration is a turning point and how it could affect enterprise AI adoption and create new security liabilities. Fourth, a ransomware attack forces Japan's top brewer, Asahi, back to pen and paper, exposing massive vulnerabilities from legacy systems and technical debt. This discussion will reveal how the attack connects to the global supply chain security trend and what it means for enterprises relying on outdated infrastructure. Fifth, E bets hundreds of millions on a new battlefield to dethrone Call of Duty, while a $55 billion Saudi-led buyout adds massive financial pressure. In this episode, we'll break down this high-stakes franchise bet and what it signals for the future of creative freedom under new debt-laden ownership. So, the story that's quietly making the rounds in Silicon Valley, some of the world's richest tech billionaires are secretly building apocalypse-proof bunkers. Mark Zuckerberg is developing a sprawling 1,400-acre compound in Hawaii, complete with a 5,000 square foot underground shelter with its own energy and food supplies. LinkedIn's co-founder, Reid Hoffman, claims about half of Silicon Valley's super wealthy have what he calls apocalypse insurance. A while back, we unpacked how a top tech pioneer reached for the non-proliferation analogy, invoking nukes while admitting there's no realistic enforcement, because models are just code, infinitely copyable, and largely built by private firms. If you can't lock the tech down globally, you insure locally. Enter the bunkers. For many, this insurance has a specific location, New Zealand. Its geographical isolation and political stability make it the perfect strategic safe haven. However, if you zoom out, you'll see another layer of strategy at play. While it might look like personal paranoia, some experts believe this is more about strategic corporate asset protection. Think of it less as a personal hideout and more as a continuity plan designed to protect the company's most vital assets, its key personnel, the AI priesthood, if you will. This is very similar to government continuity plans from the Cold War, like the famous Cheyenne Mountain Complex. Continuing that earlier point, if international guardrails are nearly impossible to enforce, continuity planning becomes the one lever boards can actually pull. And as we noted before, investors keep backing this space because the expected economic return is so enormous. It's seen as worth the danger, but that's not the whole picture. The real turning point is why they might be building them. This story takes a sharp turn when you look inside OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT. According to reports, co-founder and chief scientist Ilya Sutskever became so convinced they were on the verge of creating human-level artificial general intelligence, or AGI, that he made a stunning suggestion. His reported words to colleagues, "We're definitely going to build a bunker before we release AGI." A statement like that is incredibly revealing because it places him firmly in one of two major camps in the AI safety debate. You have one group, the long-termists, focused on these huge hypothetical future existential risks. Then you have another camp that argues we should be focusing on the immediate tangible harms AI is causing right now, like algorithmic bias and misinformation. The outcome of this debate shapes where billions of dollars in funding and research go. We previously analysed how framing AI as both a massive opportunity and a national security threat creates political urgency, pulling public money toward US tech to stay ahead of rivals. So whichever camp wins, narrative control can also steer government checks and corporate priorities. Then, one billionaire's former bodyguard reportedly said that if a real catastrophe happened, the security team's first priority would be to eliminate their boss and take the bunker for themselves. Believe it or not, there's actually a name for this exact scenario. It's a classic game theory problem called the guard's dilemma. It highlights a fundamental flaw in this kind of individual survival plan. You hire people to protect you, But in a true crisis, their own survival instinct becomes their top priority. The guards no longer need the boss. What's fascinating is that this dilemma perfectly mirrors the AI alignment problem, that so many researchers are worried about the challenge of ensuring that a powerful AI remains loyal to its creators, especially once it no longer needs them. So, is an AI-driven doomsday imminent? Not everyone is buying it. Some insiders are calling this entire narrative great marketing. As one tech CEO put it, if you are the company that's building the smartest thing that's ever existed, people are going to want to give you money. A few days ago, we also talked about the strategy behind this dual message. Pitch AI as both transformative and threatening to unlock not just venture funding, but government support to fear fuels investment, promise recruits talent. Now, get this. There's a well-documented strategy at play here. Tech leaders often use these dual narratives, AGI, as a utopian savior and an apocalyptic destroyer to achieve very specific goals. The doomsday story creates urgency and helps attract massive venture capital funding, while the utopian promise attracts the best and brightest talent. Critics point out that this intense focus on a far-off, hypothetical apocalypse conveniently distracts regulators and the public from the real, immediate, ethical problems their products are creating today. And even without AGI, as we noted a while back, AI's fingerprints are already on legal, political, and financial decisions, the exact terrain where the next phase is unfolding. Top academics are even more skeptical. One Cambridge professor argues the notion of AGI is as absurd as an artificial general vehicle, a single machine that could fly, drive, and walk. He says, we're so distracted by big tech's doomsday stories that we're missing the real-world impact of the technology we already have. This leads to the central bizarre fact of the story. The very computer scientists working tirelessly to create a hugely intelligent form of AI also seem to be the most deeply afraid of what it could one day do. They are building the future and at the same time building shelters to hide from it. We've been talking about the immense fear and capital swirling around AI's future. That same energy is fueling an incredible war for talent right now, which brings us to a college startup backed by none other than Sam Altman that just poached Meta's former vice president of AI to be its new tech chief. This is a classic Silicon Valley power move known as an acqui-hire, where you don't just hire a person, you buy their entire company to get them. The move is a major signal in the ongoing talent war for AI experts, showing that top minds are now migrating from big tech giants to specialized, high-growth startups. And as part of the deal, the startup named Campus is also acquiring his entire AI learning company, Sizzle AI. We're not talking about a small experiment either. Sizzle AI already has 1.7 million users, and now all of that proven technology is being absorbed. The strategy here is to create a hybrid educational model. Research shows that AI tutors, like the technology from Sizzle, are incredibly effective at providing personalized instruction and instant feedback. However, the key is to balance this with human instruction, because AI can't replicate the nuanced understanding and empathy of a real professor. This move suggests Campus is building a system that combines the best of both worlds, AI for personalized scale and human professors for mentorship. The founder of Campus, Tade Oyerinde, went on the record calling this a game changer, stating it catapults their company's roadmap forward by a stunning 2 to 3 years, instantly. You see, Campus was founded with one clear mission: to disrupt the entire community college system. But let's pause here, because the word disrupt is key. The average annual tuition for a public community college is around $3,800. Campus charges $7,320. This has led experts to ask if they are truly disrupting the system for everyone, or if they are cream skimming, attracting the most motivated and financially stable students away from the public system. If they succeed, it could put a strain on public community colleges that serve a much broader student population. This is a fully accredited college offering associate degrees taught by professors from universities like Stanford and Princeton. They already have over 3,000 students enrolled, and they even provide each one with a laptop and mobile Wi-Fi. They're using a model some call prestige as a service, essentially borrowing the brand reputation of these elite universities to attract students. It's a powerful marketing tool that gives them instant credibility, but it also raises questions about whether this model is sustainable and what it means for the brands of the universities themselves. And the money behind this revolution? Over $100 million. The list of investors is a who's who of power players: Peter Thiel's Founders Fund, OpenAI's Sam Altman, Figma's CEO, and in a surprising twist, NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal. This isn't just a random group of rich guys. This coalition represents a specific Silicon Valley worldview. You have Peter Thiel, who is famous for being a vocal critic of traditional college and even pays students to drop out. Then you have Sam Altman, who is at the forefront of the AI revolution. This is more than a financial bet. It's an ideological effort to build a new educational system that prioritizes technology and entrepreneurial skills. This move goes far beyond a simple corporate announcement. It's about a massively funded challenger, now supercharged with an elite AI leader and a proven platform, making a direct play to reshape American higher education by combining top-tier educators, serious capital, and now a massive AI advantage. Campus isn't just offering an alternative, it's building a new system from the ground up. Speaking of using AI to challenge established systems, Google is taking a page from that playbook, but with a fascinating twist. Instead of building a wall around its garden, it's inviting its biggest rivals inside. The company just launched Gemini Enterprise and Gemini Business, and the surprising part is that these new offerings will allow businesses to build AI agents that draw data directly from products made by Microsoft and Salesforce. The words these companies use are very intentional. Google calls its tools agents, while Microsoft has copilots. Now, this isn't just marketing. It signals a totally different strategy. A copilot is designed to be an assistant, helping you while you remain in control. But an agent implies autonomy, a system designed to manage complex workflows on its own. Google isn't just offering a helper, it's offering a digital employee. Instead of walling off its garden, Google is inviting its competitors' data in, all in an effort to win the larger war. This is done through APIs, which act like secure bridges between different software, but this creates a huge new battlefield for security. The more connections an AI has, the more entry points there are for potential attacks. This leads to the million-dollar question nobody has a clear answer for yet. If a Google agent misinterprets or leaks sensitive customer data it pulled from Salesforce, who is legally liable? It's a complex legal grey area that businesses are stepping into right now. The price tag for this new front in the AI battle is $30 per person for large companies and $21 for smaller clients. That subscription fee, however, is just the tip of the iceberg. To calculate the real return on investment, companies have to consider the hidden costs of all the employee hours spent building, debugging, and maintaining these custom agents. While Microsoft's Copilot is deeply woven into its own Office products, Google is betting that its more powerful, multimodal AI is worth the extra setup. Interestingly enough, by marketing this as a no-code platform, Google is encouraging any employee to become an AI developer. But this creates a paradox. There's a risk of employees creating what's known as shadow AI, powerful unvetted agents operating without any formal oversight. This could lead to a whole new job category. Some are calling AI agent wranglers, specialists who have to manage all the custom bots that employees are creating. This aggressive launch comes just 3 days after its rival, OpenAI, made a similar move to integrate third-party apps into ChatGPT. The conflict is clear. Google and Microsoft are in a dead sprint to become the indispensable AI layer for businesses. According to Thomas Kurian, the CEO of Google's cloud group, companies from hospitality to manufacturing are already using these tools. However, industry analysts are watching closely. One expert calls this a crucial litmus test for Google, questioning if the company can maintain a same-day sort of innovation cycle to keep up with the blistering pace of its rivals. There's a fundamental conflict between the speed of AI innovation and the needs of a large business. Enterprises crave stability, security, and predictability. Before they roll out a new AI model to thousands of employees, it has to go through months of rigorous testing. This creates an almost unavoidable lag where consumer-facing AI gets the latest models instantly, but enterprise AI might always be a generation behind. So when that analyst questions the same-day innovation cycle, they're pointing to one of the biggest unsolved challenges in corporate AI. This isn't just about a new product. It's a calculated move to deeply embed Google's AI into the very fabric of the corporate world, even if it means using its competitors' platforms to do it. The battle for the best AI model has now become a battle for total integration. We were just talking about the new vulnerabilities being created by cutting-edge AI, but sometimes The biggest threats come from the exact opposite. Old, forgotten technology. That brings us to Japan, where a cyber attack has forced the country's biggest beer maker back to using pen, paper, and fax machines. While this sounds like a total disaster, it actually reveals something fascinating. It's what experts call the analog fallback paradox. It reminds me of the massive NotPetya cyber attack on Maersk, the world's largest shipping company. Their entire digital operation was crippled, but they managed to keep about 80% of their business running by immediately switching back to manual processes, just like Asahi is doing now. It's this unexpected resilience hidden inside old school methods. This isn't some small brewery. Asahi, the company behind Japan's best-selling beer, controls a staggering 40% of the entire market. Now, after a crippling hack, production at most of its 30 factories has been halted, and its modern logistics have been replaced with handwritten orders. The culprit is a ransomware group known as Crippling. After all, ransomware isn't just about stealing data, it's about digital extortion. The hackers encrypt a company's files, making them completely unusable, and then demand a massive payment to unlock them. It's like they've put a digital padlock on every critical system Asahi owns. The fallout is a nationwide supply crisis, with wholesalers receiving only 10 to 20% of their normal shipments and major convenience stores warning about empty shelves. The problem goes beyond beer, hitting soft drinks and food items as well. This is a deliberate strategy. Cyber criminals are increasingly targeting consumer-facing supply chains to create maximum public pressure. When a product you see every day, like beer, disappears from shelves, it creates panic and puts immense pressure on the company to pay the ransom. We saw the exact same playbook in the US when JBS Foods was hacked, shutting down nearly a fifth of America's meat supply. JBS ended up paying an $11 million ransom. This attack also exposes a massive vulnerability at the heart of Japan's economy. According to one expert, the country is wide open to attacks due to a reliance on legacy systems and a society with a high level of trust. When we say legacy systems, we're talking about technical debt. It's the cost of using outdated software or unpatched hardware. Research shows that in many companies, engineers spend a third of their time just managing this debt instead of innovating. For a manufacturer like Asahi, this debt becomes a huge flashing welcome sign for hackers. How outdated. The government only officially stopped asking for documents to be submitted on floppy disks last year. The situation presents a fascinating duality. While the Japanese operations were completely paralysed, Asahi's European subsidiaries, the ones that make beers like Peroni and Grolsch, were totally unaffected. This points to a huge difference in cybersecurity between the Japanese headquarters and its European branches. It suggests that when Asahi acquired those companies, they may have inherited stronger, more modern digital defenses, while the home base in Japan was left running on older, more vulnerable systems. The attack on Asahi did more than just disrupt the beer supply. It proved that a single hack can bring a corporate giant to its knees, forcing it to trade advanced systems for a pen and a fax machine. It forces every major company to ask a tough question. In our race to digitize everything, have we forgotten how to function without it? The pen and the fax machine might seem ancient, but for Asahi, they became the last line of defense. From one corporate giant in crisis, we turn to another, making a massive, high-stakes gamble. Electronic Arts is pouring hundreds of millions of dollars into a single project with a clear mission to finally dethrone its arch-rival, Call of Duty. To give you a sense of just how monumental that challenge is, the Call of Duty franchise has sold over 400 million copies in its lifetime, while the Battlefield series has sold around 89 million. This isn't just a friendly rivalry, it's a David versus Goliath scenario when you look at the historical sales numbers. The game is Battlefield 6, and it represents a massive gamble for publisher Electronic Arts, especially after its predecessor. Battlefield 2042 was released to a negative reception it struggled to recover from. Behind the curtain, the developers are following a classic franchise redemption playbook, similar to how games like No Man's Sky managed to turn public opinion around after a rocky launch. They're systematically addressing core complaints from the last one by reintroducing the traditional class system and bringing back the series' signature environmental destruction. A while back, we talked about worries that EA's new financial reality might push quick cash tactics. Interestingly, the Battlefield team is betting that rebuilding trust through core gameplay is the smarter path to revenue. But this time, EA is swinging for the fences. The team is so confident that one studio head called the new game's offering probably unbeatable. 4 separate studios have been mobilized on what one designer calls probably the biggest project most of them have ever worked on. Now, managing 4 studios across different continents is a logistical nightmare. The secret to ensuring a cohesive final product lies in a development method that relies on robust automation and continuous integration, a high-tech assembly line that allows a massive, globalized team to work as one. They've brought back the single-player campaign missing from the last installment, and early playtests have generated feedback described as explosively positive. Analysts are already predicting it could sell up to 5 million copies in its first week alone. We previously analysed how the stakes around EA have risen dramatically. Results like this aren't just bragging rights, they're meant to feed a much bigger financial machine. This is where the situation takes a more complex turn. As developers race to launch the game, news recently broke that Electronic Arts itself has agreed to be sold to a Saudi Arabia-led group for a staggering $55 billion. A few days ago, we mentioned that the consortium includes Saudi Arabia's public investment fund alongside Jared Kushner's affinity partners, and that this is a record-setting leverage buyout, taking EA private with an enormous pile of borrowed money. This isn't just a standard business deal. It's a key part of a massive national strategy called Vision 2030, designed to diversify the Saudi economy away from oil and into high-growth sectors like entertainment. By acquiring a giant like EA, the PIF isn't just buying games, it's buying influence and a pathway to becoming a global gaming superpower. Continuing our last discussion, some observers frame this as a broader soft power push, what we call game washing, and it raises open questions about creative latitude in franchises like The Sims and Dragon Age under socially conservative ownership. As part of that deal, EA has taken on $20 billion of debt, sparking fears of future cutbacks. As we noted before, industry voices warned that blockbuster revenue from EA Sports, FC and Battlefield might be needed just to service that debt. While the company has told staff to expect no immediate changes, the pressure is immense. Ultimately, the pressure to succeed is coming from 2 directions. From a player base that needs to be won back, and from new owners who have a $55 billion investment to justify.
That's it for today on Voyage Daily Tech. Follow, share, and stay tuned for daily updates coming your way tomorrow.